Hi, I'm Ukulele Clare. Thanks for joining me today on the Beginner's Ukulele Jumpstart. We're going to go over some foundational ideas on how to hold, strum, make chords, and play a song on the ukulele. There are lots of different ways of doing everything, and you get to choose what works for you. So let's dive in. All right, first we're going to talk about how to hold the ukulele. I usually hold it about mid-torso and point it at about 2 o'clock and held a little bit out from my body. All of this helps you work together ergonomically with your body mechanics so you're not having strange angles for your wrists, which won't do you or your ukulele playing any good. So I just put my arm over the ukulele, the end of the ukulele, and my fingers end up right at the ukulele sweet spot. That's the midpoint of the strings, and it's right where the neck meets the body in most ukuleles, which is about at the 12th fret space. These are all called frets, these lines here. So one other thing to keep in mind is you want to keep the strings pointing out towards your adoring audience. It's a real temptation, especially when you're beginning to learn the ukulele, to pull the ukulele up like this so you can see the chords. Eventually, you want to be able to make the chords without looking at them at all. That takes a little while to get there, but you'll get there. But try to resist the temptation to pitch your ukulele up like this. See what it does to my wrist? It creates an unnecessary angle that can tire your wrist. Also, the strumming is unnatural. It just doesn't really work well to work like this on your ukulele. So hold it out like this, your strings out towards your audience, and work on making those chords at this angle. See my nice, straight, relaxed wrist? I can play for hours this way. All right, now let's tune the ukulele. I usually use an electronic tuner, a clip-on tuner. It just goes right on the headstock, which is what this is called. And I like this one because it's just a simple on and off button. There are lots of different shapes and sizes and gizmos that you can use for tuning. This is just one of many different kinds. What I like to do when I'm tuning is I hold the ukulele like this. I'm just cradling it in my arm and holding it by its shoulder so that my thumb can reach all the strings. Each string has a unique note that it makes, and this tuner will help you dial into exactly what that note should be. The notes from the top are G, C, E, and A. It's really helpful to have a mnemonic or way to memorize those. I can never keep them in mind, so my favorite one is Give Clare Everything Always. But you can use Go Climb Every Alp, Giant Cats Eat Ants, whatever it is that works for you. It really is helpful in getting those string notes down. The ukulele is a unique instrument. It's one of the few instruments where the strings aren't arranged from low to high, from top to bottom. It starts out high, and then it gets low again, and then starts going high again. That's what gives it its sweet voice. So you want to make sure that you're choosing the right notes to match your strings to. And here's why that's important and what I mean by the right notes. If you ever seen a piano keyboard, there are 88 keys on that keyboard, but there are really only 7 regular natural notes like this that repeat themselves: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. But there are 88 keys, so when they hit G, they start all over again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So starting low A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And so you don't want to tune to one of those higher G's because that makes the string too tight. You can break the string and you can damage the ukulele. So that's why you want to make sure that you're tuning right down the middle for those notes. So when you go about tuning the ukulele, you know it's in tune when you look at the tuner and the light right above the note that you're trying to hit is lit up. There are usually lights on either side of that one light that's straight up and down, and that means you're either too low if it's to the left or too high if it's to the right. And so you just tune it back down or tune it back up. If you see a note with a pound sign, some people call it a hashtag, it's a sharp sign. That means that it's a totally different note, and you need to make sure that you're tuning it back down to the right note without that number sign or hashtag or sharp sign. Now let's get into strumming. So I fold my arm over the base of the ukulele and I strum right here on the sweet spot, and I'm strumming down and up. That is the basis for every strum you will ever learn, is down and up. Most people use their index finger to strum, and you basically kind of curve your finger a little bit and let it loose. Don't make it stiff. That just will get your fingers tangled in the strings and not be a natural flow. You want the finger to flow over the strings. So basically point it at your face, flick your wrist down, and then you're pointing at the ground. Now flick your wrist up and point it at your face. Make sure your finger is running across all 4 strings. It's tempting to kind of strum out like this, but that you leave out some of these essential strings. You only have 4 strings to play with, so you want to make sure you're hitting them all. Strum it all the way down, good follow through. And notice I'm flicking my wrist. I'm not tick-tocking my arm. Every time you move your arm away from the ukulele, that finger has to find those strings again. Plus, there's a lot of time spent going like this. And when you want to strum at 900 miles an hour, this will not allow you to do that. So many people use their index finger. I'm just doing it with my nail going over the strings, and then the palm of my hand and a little bit of nail. I'm kind of on the edge of my finger. And my finger's active. It's like I'm flicking the notes down and then collecting them all up again. Many people decide to strum with their thumb. Same principles apply, except this time you're strumming down kind of more on the pad of your thumb and then up on the nail. Again, an active thumb. I like to strum with 2 fingers because I find it just helps me go a little bit faster when I want to go faster, but it's the same principle. Flicking down, flicking back up, and all about the wrist. Now we're going to learn how to make a chord. We're going to start with the C chord, one of the easiest ones. And how you hold the ukulele up here can make it really difficult or really easy for you to get to just about any chord on the fretboard. So how I like to do it, and again, there are many ways of doing everything, but I'll tell you why. I'll tell you my reasoning behind what I'm trying to explain. So I consider it like a handshake, like you're shaking hands with the ukulele, and I'm balancing it, not very delicately, it's very active. I'm balancing it right on this knuckle right here where my index finger joins my palm. That way I can pivot my hand around and reach all kinds of gnarly chords and easy ones with just that hand movement. Many people are tempted to hold the ukulele like this, where your thumb is on the back of the ukulele. That's a classical guitar move. This is not a classical guitar. You hold it in a whole different way to be able to make that work. This way, your ukulele is always supported. Even if your fingers are flying off to get to another chord, you don't have to worry about keeping tension on the ukulele and having to hold it up, because there's this pocket the ukulele will drop down to anyway, and that's where you are with the handshake method of playing the ukulele. So once you get here, your fingers curl around like rainbows with ballerina toes. And the reason you want to focus on those ballerina toes, which are your fingertips, is that those fingertips are what land on the strings to make a chord. And so they land nice and cleanly and not angled so that you're flopping over another string. You just grab your ukulele and curl your fingers around like rainbows with ballerina toes. And what I'm doing here is I'm pressing against the string and pushing it against the base of my thumb so that I'm holding it nice and I've got some pressure there, but I'm not really cranking on it. Anytime you feel any strain or stress in your fingers, your wrist, your arm, your shoulders, your face, stop a minute and just relax. Put your shoulders down, give your shoulders a little roll, get back to the pivot point, and get back to that chord that you're working on. So for the C chord, what I'm doing is I'm taking my ring finger and I'm pressing down on the bottom string at the 3rd fret space. And that's a really important spot to know and to understand. So remember, these lines here are called frets. And the sound of the chord that you're looking for comes from the string bending over these frets. If your finger is on top of the fret, you usually get a weird tone that is not the nice, long, sustaining tone. It's also just the wrong sound. This is the place to be putting your finger in between the frets. So whenever you hear somebody saying, okay, put this finger on the 3rd fret, that's shorthand for the 3rd fret space. So back to the C. I'm shaking hands with the ukulele. I'm curling my ring finger around. My fingertip is on that bottom string, 3rd fret space. Give it a strum and see how it sounds. That's a C chord. And that's the foundation for thousands and thousands of songs. So you're a third of the way there to being able to play many, many songs. So an important part of playing chords on the ukulele is knowing how to read a chord chart. So this chart looks like your ukulele like this. The thick line, the thick horizontal line at the top represents this line right here, which is called the nut. And it's the thing that the strings are bent over at the very top. The lines going vertically, you guessed it, those are the strings. The lines going horizontally, those are the frets. So we'll see a dot, and that indicates where a finger is supposed to go. So for the C chord, you'll see the dot on the string furthest this way, and you go 1, 2, 3. There's your 3rd position. All right, so now you know how to hold the ukulele, you know how to make chords, you know how to strum. Now the important part is figuring out what's going on in the music that you can play with the ukulele. Every song has got a beat. It's that rhythm that if you're dancing to a song, you're dancing to the beat. It's where you're tapping your toe or drumming your fingers. So that is a really good indication of where the beat is. And guess what? Your body knows this because when you dance, your body just automatically dances. You're not having to tell yourself, left shoulder go that way, right shoulder go that way. Your body just knows how to do that. And fortunately, your arm is attached to your body, so you can match that tendency of your body to match the beat with your strum. That's basically what you're doing at the most elementary level with a song. So let's take a song that most of us probably know pretty well. Row, row, row your boat. Here we go. All right, grab your ukulele. Start getting to the beat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And what I'm doing here is I'm holding my fingers over the strings of the ukulele. I do this a lot when I'm practicing something so I don't drive myself or anyone else in my household bananas by doing something over and over and over. So I'm holding the string, my fingers over the strings to damp them, as opposed to letting them go like this. That way I can try things out and not be driving myself crazy. So we're going to try that now. Just whatever way of strumming you like with your thumb, one finger, two fingers. Here we go. Get your body synced up. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Let's do it again. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. All right, now let's add the up strums. Here we go. We're still on the down strums, keeping to the beat. The up strums are happening in between the beats. Here we go. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Once again. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. All right, so that's what strumming is all about in its essence. So let's put that together in a song where we use the chord that we learned. All right, let's put it all together into a song. We've got the song The Lime in the Coconut, and it's just the C chord, which is handy because that's the one you learned. And we've got a song sheet up here, and this sort of looks like a typical song sheet that you'll see, except for those downward and upward flinks that you see. The big down ones, the V's, are the down strum. The little upward ones are what is usually a softer up strum. So I've positioned them in the song where they fall, either under a word or under a space where there's no singing. Sometimes at the end of a line there will be several strums at the end and you just keep strumming. You learn how to listen to the music in a different way when you're playing an instrument. So I hope you enjoy learning how to play this song. Brother bought a coconut, he bought it for a dime. His sister had another one, she paid it for the lime. She put the lime in the coconut and drank 'em both up. She put the lime in the coconut and drank 'em both up. So that's the first part of the song. There's a lot more to it, and you can find a copy of the song with these beats at ukuleleClare.com, as well as a bunch of other songs and tips on how to play the ukulele. So pulling it all together, keep in mind that the more slowly you practice, the more quickly you become a faster player, and the more attention you can pay to each part in what you're doing. Really get that handshake down. Avoid putting your palm flat like this and making an unnatural bend in your wrist. And look what it does to my shoulder and my face. No, that's much better. So nice. Everything should be relaxed and enjoyable. And play at a pace that is slower than you think you need to. When you're learning a new chord, strum it 4 times. See how it sounds. Take your hand away. And now very slowly let your fingers find that chord and make it happen again. The trajectory is just as important as the landing. So it's very important to take your time and observe all the little details. And that way you can get faster and faster. You're not playing in a panic, which makes your body not want to play. And really enjoy the ukulele journey. And thank you for letting me be part of it.